What was supposed to be a simple Thanksgiving decoration project suddenly exposed the cracks in one of the most complicated families on reality TV. As old tensions resurfaced, unexpected choices divided the family, and a holiday meant to bring everyone together turned into a moment that could change everything forever. And before we reveal what really happened, make sure you hit subscribe, because this channel brings you the most dramatic, untold reality TV stories you do not want to miss. Thanksgiving was only a week away, and what should have been a joyful preparation for a massive family gathering slowly began to reveal deeper tensions that had been quietly building for years. Janelle had reached out with what sounded like a simple idea. She wanted to decorate for Thanksgiving, and she asked Mary to help her. And on the surface, it felt like a small step toward rebuilding a relationship that had been strained for a very long time. They had recently attended a therapy session together, and although it had not gone deep into the heavy emotional history between them, it still felt like progress, a sign that maybe things could slowly improve. And Janelle believed that working on something creative together might help them reconnect. The plan was simple. Each of them would come up with decoration ideas and then meet to compare their styles and decide on a look for the tables. But the moment Janelle walked into Mary's home, she felt a wave of surprise. Mary had already purchased dishes, decorations, ribbons, candles, and supplies, and the entire room looked like a craft store had exploded with Thanksgiving-themed items. It was clear that Mary had already invested a lot of time and energy into planning the table settings, and while Janelle admired the effort, she also felt a quiet confusion because she believed they were still in the planning stage. She had imagined the two of them brainstorming together, but now it seemed like the decisions had already been made. Mary enthusiastically explained the concept, mixing dish patterns, candles, soft autumn colors, and handmade centerpieces. And as she talked, Janelle nodded politely, trying to stay engaged, even though she was beginning to feel like she had arrived late to her own project. The scale of the task quickly became clear. This was not just a small dinner, it was their traditional Thanksgiving gathering, which usually included nearly 70 relatives, filling the room with long tables, crowded chairs, and endless conversation. 70 people meant 70 napkin rings, 70 place settings, and dozens of centerpieces, something that sounded simple when spoken out loud, but felt overwhelming when they began calculating the actual work involved. Janelle openly admitted that decorating and crafting were not her natural strengths. She was someone who preferred practical tasks, and she had never been particularly confident when it came to artistic projects. So she leaned on Mary, asking her to show how everything should be done, and even suggesting that they invite some of the kids to help with the work. Mary was happy to guide the process, and she seemed energized by the creative challenge. But inside, Janelle felt conflicted. She genuinely liked the decorations Mary had chosen, and she appreciated the effort. Yet, she also sensed an old, familiar pattern beginning to repeat itself. Years earlier, whenever the family worked on group projects, Janelle often stepped back and allowed others to lead, simply because it avoided conflict and kept the peace. She would quietly say, "Just tell me what to do and I will do it." And although that approach had worked in the past, it also meant that her voice sometimes disappeared in the process. As she watched Mary organize the decorations, she felt herself slipping back into that same role, helping but not truly participating in the planning. And that realization left her feeling slightly disconnected from the project. Mary noticed the hesitation, but she was also dealing with her own internal changes. She had spent years focusing on details and perfection, especially during family events. And in the past, if something looked messy or imperfect, she might have taken control or corrected it immediately. But now, she was trying to be more aware of how those reactions affected others. When Janelle proudly showed her the spray-painted cans she had prepared for the centerpieces, the paint was uneven and there were visible drips along the sides. Mary noticed it instantly, and for a brief moment, she considered pointing it out, but then she stopped herself. She understood that criticizing the effort could undo the fragile progress they were making. So instead, she smiled and accepted the cans exactly as they were, choosing connection over perfection. It was a small decision, but it represented a larger shift in how she wanted to approach their relationship. Soon, the house filled with energy as the children arrived, ready to help. Ribbons, glue sticks, flowers, and decorations covered the tables as everyone gathered around to begin assembling the centerpieces and napkin rings. Laughter mixed with moments of confusion as the kids experimented with different ways to attach ribbons and flowers, while Mary moved quickly from one station to another, demonstrating how the pieces should fit together. Janelle tried to follow along, asking questions and carefully copying the steps she was shown, but the difference in their personalities was becoming more obvious. Mary approached the project with focused determination. She had a clear image of the final result, and she wanted to move efficiently toward it. Janelle, on the other hand, worked slowly, pausing to observe the process and occasionally stepping back as if unsure whether she should take initiative or simply wait for instructions. Even as the decorations began to take shape, she could not fully shake the feeling that she was slightly outside the center of the project, like a helper assisting with someone else's vision. Mary sensed the distance, but she also understood that rebuilding trust would not happen overnight. Their history together was complicated, filled with years of misunderstandings, unspoken frustrations, and emotional wounds that could not be solved by a single holiday craft. Still, she believed that these small shared activities could open the door to something better. As the afternoon continued, the pile of completed decorations grew. Napkin rings lined the table, rows of painted cans waited for candles and flowers, and the living room slowly transformed into a workshop filled with evidence of teamwork. Yet, beneath the laughter and busy hands, there remained an unspoken tension because everyone involved knew that the decorations were only the small part of the bigger picture. Thanksgiving itself was approaching, and with it came the question of whether the entire family would actually gather. The way they always had in previous years, the thought lingered quietly in the background as ribbons were tied and glue dried, because even though the centerpieces looked beautiful, the real challenge for this family had never been about crafts or table settings. It had always been about communication, trust, and the complicated dynamics of a large family trying to stay connected through changing circumstances and personal struggles. As the sun began to set and the final decorations were placed carefully aside, ready for Thanksgiving Day, Janelle looked around the room, filled with handmade pieces and smiling children, and she tried to focus on the positive moments, the laughter, the cooperation, and the small signs that maybe progress was possible. Yet deep inside, she also knew that the holiday ahead could reveal whether these small efforts were enough to bring people closer together, or whether the distance that had slowly grown between different parts of the family would become impossible to ignore. And as the preparations came to an end, one quiet question remained hanging in the air. Would this Thanksgiving become a symbol of healing and unity, or would it expose just how much the family had changed over time, and how difficult it might be to bring everyone back together again? Thanksgiving morning arrived with a quiet feeling that something about this year was different, even before the cooking began or the tables were set. The atmosphere surrounding the holiday felt unfamiliar, because for many years, Thanksgiving had always meant a crowded house, long tables stretching across the room, dozens of voices talking at once, and children running between chairs while the adults tried to keep track of dishes and conversations. But this time, things were not unfolding in the same way. The preparations that Mary and Janelle had spent days working on had originally been meant for a gathering of nearly 70 people, a massive family event that had become tradition over the years. But now, the reality looked very different. The family had been struggling with disagreements about health precautions, travel plans, and deeper issues that had been building quietly for a long time. and those disagreements had slowly pulled people in different directions until the once unified holiday celebration had split apart into separate gatherings in different places. Inside Robin's home, the mood was calm, but also slightly uneasy because everyone knew the house felt emptier than it used to be. Instead of dozens of relatives, there were only a few people preparing to share the meal. Robin moved around the kitchen, checking dishes and arranging trays, while Cody reflected on how strange the situation felt for him. Thanksgiving had always been one of the most important family traditions, a moment when everyone returned home and set aside their differences long enough to celebrate together. But now he was standing in a quiet kitchen, realizing that many of the familiar faces were miles away. Mary arrived carrying a turkey, which immediately caught Robin by surprise, because Robin had been planning to cook one herself. Mary laughed and explains that cooking a turkey had always been her role during Thanksgiving, and not bringing one this year had simply felt wrong. She joked that she did not know what to do with herself if she was not making a turkey, and the moment created a mix of humor and awkwardness. Robin smiled, welcoming the extra dish, while the children gathered around to see a creative dessert Mary had made, a Rice Krispie treat shaped like a turkey, complete with colorful candy decorations. The playful dessert brought laughter into the room, and for a moment, it reminded everyone of the joyful chaos that used to define their holidays in the past. Cody looked around the house and thought about the Thanksgivings they had shared in earlier years, when the rooms were packed with relatives. He remembered one year when nearly 80 people filled the house, tables stretching wall to wall, plates clinking, voices overlapping, and laughter echoing through every corner. That kind of energy was missing now, and the quietness of the room made the change impossible to ignore. Mary and Robin worked side by side in the kitchen, preparing the rest of the meal. And despite the complicated history between them, they found it easy to cooperate during small tasks like stirring gravy, arranging vegetables, and organizing dishes. Mary admitted that even though her relationship with Cody had changed over the years, they still functioned well together during family events in the kitchen. They understood each other's rhythms and could move around each other naturally while cooking. But she also knew that their connection was no longer the same as it once had been, and that realization sat quietly beneath the surface of the friendly conversation. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in Utah, another Thanksgiving celebration was taking place, and the energy there was completely different. Christine and Janelle had decided to spend the holiday with their children, creating a relaxed gathering that felt peaceful and comfortable. The house was filled with laughter, conversation, and the warmth of family members reconnecting after months apart. Adult children shared stories about their lives while grandchildren played nearby, and the kitchen filled with the familiar smell of homemade food. Christine looked around the room and felt a deep sense of gratitude because being surrounded by her children brought her a kind of happiness that had been difficult to find during the stressful months leading up to this holiday. Janelle felt something similar. She had spent years participating in the large, traditional gatherings, but this smaller celebration allowed her to relax and enjoy simple moments without the pressure that often came with managing such a huge family event. One of their daughters was still recovering from a major surgery, and seeing her surrounded by love and support reminded everyone of how important these gatherings were. Another daughter was expecting a baby, and the excitement of that new chapter added another layer of joy to the day. As they prepared the meal together, laughter filled the kitchen, and the atmosphere felt light and welcoming. The difference between the two gatherings was not just about location. It reflected the emotional shifts that had been happening within the family for years. Back in the quieter house, Cody tried to stay positive, focusing on gratitude and appreciation for the people who were present. He spoke about loyalty, respect, and the importance of supporting one another during difficult times. And while those words were sincere, they also revealed the complicated feelings he was experiencing. He missed the presence of the rest of the family, yet he also felt grateful for the calm atmosphere that remained. Robin worried about how the children might interpret the situation. She feared they might feel rejected or confused about why the family could not come together the way they once had. But she also understood that some decisions were beyond her control, and that everyone involved was trying to navigate the challenges in their own way. During the meal, everyone tried to focus on gratitude, sharing stories and appreciating the moment. Yet the absence of the larger family remained noticeable. Across the miles, the Utah gathering continued with warmth and laughter. The group shared memories, cooked together, and enjoyed the kind of relaxed conversation that often happens when people feel completely comfortable around one another. Christine admitted that at first, she had wondered the emotional journey of a family learning to navigate change, searching for understanding, and discovering what connection means when life no longer looks the way it once did. And as the night grew quiet in both homes, the same thought lingered in many minds. The story of this family was far from finished, and the choices made during this season could shape the relationships they carried into the years ahead. In the end, this Thanksgiving did more than change a family tradition. It revealed the truth about relationships, loyalty, and the future of this family. And if you want to see the next shocking chapter before everyone else, make sure you subscribe right now, because the biggest reality TV stories and hidden details are coming next, and you will not want to